Welcome to Solo Travel TV. This is Yogita Ridgley. I am the CEO and the founder of Traveling with Me, Myself and I. And today I have a beautiful lady who is very well traveled, and she's super excited to share all her travel stories and insights on how to travel safe, how to travel smart, and how to travel solo. Let's welcome Maria. Hello, Maria. How are you?
Hi, thank you. I'm fine.
Excellent. Thank you so much for joining me. Let's start with if you can introduce yourself, your little story about where you're from, and
Sure.
all of that.
Okay, right. My name is Maria Holzamer. I'm originally from Germany, but I've lived in the UK and still live in the UK in the southwest in beautiful Cornwall for about 30 years now. I lived in Corfu very briefly, and I am a travel director for Trafalgar and Cost Saver Travel. So I do Central Europe. I do about 17 countries, I think.
Excellent. Wow. Never a dull moment in Maria's life. Now, Maria, today I want to dive in the deep end and ask you I think you probably might have to, take the whole probably couple of hours to answer this question because you'll have too many stories, but we'll just pick one. One of your very favorite memories of your very first solo travel trip. Where was that?
Well, I've been traveling solo pretty much all my adult life. I do like traveling solo. And one of the places I really was quite surprised how much I liked traveling by myself was Israel. But one of the places I go back pretty much every year is Italy, in Sicily in particular. And I do find I am so welcomed, I'm so well treated as a solo traveler there. Not true in every country, but I do believe like Rome and Sicily is definitely where people come up on the street to you and they say, oh, you're so beautiful, and come have a picture with me and a coffee, but never ever harass you or hassle you, just always really lovely, complimentary, great service, never get bad tables in restaurants like you do in England when you eat by yourself. It's just lovely. It's just so nice. And Israel as well, I have found myself so safe and so welcome despite being German, and it was just great. So yeah, these are definitely my two favorite bits. And I always find so many other people that you get in contact with, stay friends with. I have friends all over the world from my travels, and sometimes I think that wouldn't have happened if I would travel not by myself.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the most exciting part about solo traveling, is because you're on your own, you get to meet new people instead of talking to the same people that you normally travel with. That's why I love solo traveling so much. And just like you said, it's amazing to have friends all over the world and and learn from their cultures and experiences. Now, Maria, what got you started on your solo traveling journey?
Well, my parents were really good. I grew up in Germany in the southwest, so I grew up about 45 minutes from France. And the nice thing about living in Germany is like you're pretty much in the center of Europe, so you can drive everywhere. So we did a holiday every year in summer in Europe, and then my parents insisted that we learn to get to know our own country as well. So every Easter or autumn, we had to discover our own country. So we've always been traveling. And then later on, I actually, well, this is probably my favorite travel story. I traveled to London when I was 21 years old for a 2-week holiday. That was in July 1987, and I haven't returned yet. So, I kind of just stayed. So I not just traveled on my own, I kind of just moved, and it happened in Corfu as well. I was just in Corfu for holiday, and that went into a 6-month stay. So I'm more used to doing it by myself. I'm more used to do their own thing. So I've always done that. I have always, even when I was traveling with my parents, I was always doing my own thing. They only saw me for breakfast and dinner. And then so I don't know. It's in my blood. My mom did it. My brother does it. Maybe it's a genetic thing. I don't know. It's a free trait.
It sounds like you are an extremely independent soul, and you literally kind of go with the flow. I have to say, I'm very envious with the fact that you are right. When you live in anywhere in Europe, everything is so close. Every border you cross, a different country, different language, different food, different experiences. So I do envy that. And every time we travel, like I live in Australia, every time I go to Europe, it takes so long to get there. So I try to spend as much time as possible in those countries till they kick me out, like my visa expires, so to speak. So my next question, Maria, is what is one thing you really love about solo traveling?
Well, I like that you can do your own thing, and you can like plan your own day or not plan your own day, which is also really important. So when you're tired, or like for example, I don't really like going out a lot at night, so I'm usually pack everything in during the day, and then sometimes I just have a what I call a hotel picnic, where I just buy some foods and then read some books or write or do my Instagrams, and I don't want to leave anymore. And I don't, because I travel so much, I don't feel like I need to experience everything. And sometimes when you travel with other people, and you kind of feel pressured into doing this and that, even if you may not be in the mood. Sometimes that's good and sometimes that's not. So you can take things at your own pace. You can delve more deeply into things that you like, and kind of leave aside the ones that you're not that bothered with, even so you're supposed to. Sometimes you go to a town and you really should see that museum, but you're really not in the mood for like old Dutch masters, and you kind of don't have to pretend to, because it's just you and the Dutch masters and they won't care. So it's nice. And the thing is, I find, because of social media, like sometimes when you feel like, oh, I wish I could share this, now we can. I share on Instagram, I share on Facebook, and a lot of my friends kind of travel with me without actually being there, which is just great.
Absolutely. And that's the luxury of now, the technology.
Yes.
With what you just said, that you don't have to do everything and anything to please anyone except for yourself. So if you feel like staying in, great. If you feel like going out, that's perfectly fine as well, as long as you are just looking after yourself. You're just taking care of yourself. And that's exactly, like literally the reason I love solo traveling so much. I'm on my own agenda and I don't have to look after anybody else. That's exactly, how good is that? Now, my next question, just like anything, highs and lows of life, good things and bad things that just come hand in hand. In solo traveling, what is one thing that you don't like about it?
Well, it's not that I don't like it. It's like, sometimes when I do travel with my friend Julia, lovely Julia, once a year, and it's a completely different experience. So then we do go out at night and we have some cocktails, and it's great fun. And I'm thinking, oh, this is a shame, because I don't actually experience that when I travel on my own, but I don't miss it. So it's kind of nice to do that, but it's also doesn't bother me when we don't do that. So it's a different experience, and it's also really nice. Now, the thing that I really found sometimes that I don't like about traveling alone is, if you, for example, like I got ill. I was quite ill one holiday with my friend, and it was so nice for her to be there, because she was really good. Normally I kind of sort out everything, and I do the agenda and I figure out where we're going, and she kind of just took charge and said, like, this is the doctor we got to see, this is where you go. And then she felt suitably sorry for me, which was really what was also important, and that was really nice, not to be in that situation by yourself, so that is something. And then sometimes, in certain countries where if you do eat alone as a woman, I mean, I don't go into bars as a woman, but if you do eat alone, then you do sometimes and to be fair, not in the countries you would expect, never in Italy or any places, but in some other places you get a little bit of unwanted attention.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Um, I love the way you said that it is actually really the balance that, when you are traveling with your friends, you get to do different things. When you're traveling on your own, you get to do different things, and that all provides the balance that, you can
Exactly.
enjoy life as a whole package. So you're not missing out on anything, or any part of
Yeah,
fun or
exactly.
enjoyment that you always like. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, now the next question. Again, this is going to be a little bit hard for you because you're so well traveled, but let's see what you can come up with. Now, I have noticed, like you said, you share a lot of your journey on Instagram, and I've been passionately following your journey. Now, your traveling includes a lot of beautiful shoes. I have always been dying to ask you this question. What's the story behind that?
Well, well, I work as, like I told you, I work as a travel director, and I really, really like unusual shoes. And then it became a bit of a thing. So like every morning when I turn up, my people on the coach, they go, oh, what's she wearing? What's she wearing? So it got to a point where I just could not repeat. And like every day I had to change shoes. Then it got like to, if we have an evening thing, I had to take shoes as well. So now I'm taking like zillions of shoes on every trip. And then it got to where we started taking photographs of these shoes in really, really beautiful surroundings, because there is no view that cannot be improved but a nice pair of shoes. So it became a little bit of a thing, and then I stopped because I thought this is really self-indulgent and silly. And then I got loads of angry messages saying, have you run out of footwear? What's going on? Are you barefoot? We need to see the shoes. So now, unfortunately, a colleague of mine, Ellen, has started me on unusual handbags. So this is all getting very bulky and expensive.
But I have to admit, it is absolutely gorgeous to see different, the shoes that you are taking photos of, they belong to that culture and that country, and that they have some story to tell, and they're so funky and different.
Yes,
It just,
thank you.
it's kind of almost a different level of adventure, in traveling, I guess. Why not? I absolutely love it. Now,
Thank you.
the next question. Now, one place that you've been to that has literally totally changed you as a person, whether it's the culture, the people, or just the life experience, what place would that be?
Oh, Sicily, without a doubt. I don't even need to think about that. Sicily is, I always call it my charger. Like when you have to put your phone on the charger,
Yes.
That's Sicily. If I'm in any, Sicily is my happy place, my sunshine, my charger. Like I've been going to Sicily since I was 14 years old. My parents took me to Sicily then, and it was always my favorite place with my parents. It's my favorite place now. Whenever I can, I go there. It makes me feel like a new woman. I feel so happy and confident. I love their way of life, the kind of slightly slower, take your time, don't sit there and get all worked up about little stuff. But that's my traveling place. But to be honest, one place that has also very much changed my way of thinking, my pace of life, and my acceptance is Cornwall, which is where I live now in the southwest of England, where when I moved here from London, and I was very London, everything is so important, I'm so important, I have so much to do. And then people in Cornwall, you go to the beach, you chill, you go like, oh, who cares? Nobody cares about anything. It's a slower pace. It took me months and months to calm down from London. And now it's kind of just go with the flow, just do it. It'll be all right, just have a surf, have a swim, have a paddle. So that is definitely really increased my levels of patience, of acceptance, of like calm. So that is, you know, it's a place I've traveled to, but I've been staying for more than 20 years now. So it's definitely changed the way I am.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful. And that is really important, isn't it? That we actually really learn to how de-stress, let go of things that we can't control. And like you
Yeah.
said, London being a big city, I have met people from big cities. They really just don't know how to breathe in and breathe out and take it all in.
Yeah.
And every time you encounter them, they think that, you know, you kind of like a hippie because I'm taking my time to enjoy things. It's like, and then if they come on board being hippie with me.
Hopefully.
Yeah, that is absolutely important. And I have to admit, Sicily does have that vibe, and the people are just so absolutely gorgeous. And I can really relate to that. Absolutely. Now, our very last question before we finish our beautiful chat today. If someone was thinking of starting their solo travel journey for the very first time, they haven't traveled solo before and they're thinking of traveling, what would your advice be for this person?
Right. Well, you know, it's always confidence. You know, if you walk into a place with confidence, you get treated much better. Now, personally, I also think if you dress well, you get treated much better, which is why I always dress well. You know, if you hang around there with like jeans with are ripped and, you know, flip-flops, then you might not get the best service. So, you know, be super nice. But I think the most important thing really is a massive smile. You know, it gets you anywhere. A big smile makes, like, you know, half, you know, it's half the battle already. Be very kind to people, and, you know, be open, you know, just, but also sort of put up a little bit of like a bubble around you, so that you're kind, but you're not necessarily super approachable. So you kind of need to know, like, you need to look like you know what you're doing, you know, not a meerkat. You know, meerkat look is really bad, you know, because then you look timid, you look vulnerable, you know. So just stride. But also what's important, don't worry about getting lost. You know, when I found the best places, in places like Venice or Rome or Sicily, getting lost is the best thing that could happen to you, because you find the most stunning places, you know, around every corner is like a new beautiful picture and an experience. So don't be scared, you know, really do not be scared. We kind of think there's so many bad things happening because it's always on the telly, but, you know, when you watch that for a while, you think it's all repeats, you know. They don't really have that many murderers and serial killers to go around. So, you know, you are usually safer than you think, but, you know, do be aware. And then my number one travel tip, this is my number one travel tip, always put your toothpaste in the safe. If you put your toothpaste in the safe, you will never ever forget your passport again, or your money or anything else. So, because in the morning when you brush your teeth, you go, "Where's my toothpaste?" "Oh, it's in the safe," and then you take your passport out as well. So always put your toothpaste in the safe.
That's a very good advice. I have to admit, a lot of times I have seen people who have arrived at the airport and their passport is still at the hotel safe.
Oh, yeah.
It
Yeah,
saves
toothpaste, always toothpaste.
saves a lot of problems, that's for sure.
Yes.
Now, absolutely gorgeous advice, and I love the stories as well. Thank you so much for sharing those. I do have to admit, one of the really good things that you just said that I really totally agree with, and I'm very passionate about this as well, is get lost. Like, really, I say that with the most love and passion. That's the best place for every solo traveler. Is the more lost you are, the more you are found in profound moments and magical places and those authentic experiences that we all want, but we don't want to take the risk of being lost. So I have this thing where I say, just go and get lost. And people sometimes don't know how to actually really take me when I say that, but that's what I mean as well. And I love it when you said the same thing. So thank you for that. Now, thank you so much for joining me and sharing your stories and your insights and your beautiful journey. And yeah, thank you. And
you're welcome.
we'll see you obviously, no doubt, in future with all your Instagram and Facebook posts and so forth. And I would love our audience that would want to follow Maria to follow her on her Instagram as well. And if you love the videos that we're doing, subscribe to our YouTube channel and stay in touch and follow all these other beautiful women that we are talking to and inspiring others, and especially women, in what we are trying to achieve is basically empowering and inspiring as many people as possible to really connect within and love who they are and be the most authentic you. So thank you very much.